today we have two very special guests. It is Bri and Shawn Absher from Las Vegas. I'm going to surprise you a little bit, and I'm just going to start off with a little bit about them. Can you guys just describe who you are and who you are in the wedding industry?
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm Bri Absher, and I do wedding planning, and I also am a licensed officiant. We've opened up to do also events. I wear a lot of hats actually, so we do a lot of things, but we create a lot of beauty for people.
And I'm Shawn Absher, and I do a lot of the behind the scenes, running our servers and decoding and so forth for the various websites, and also processing videos and the photos and all the weddings and events.
So you're talking about hosting websites. What does that entail? What's your portfolio then?
From our main one, we have the lvwc.com, which was really hard, but we got it early on in the 90s. But 3 and 4 letter.coms are very hard to obtain. Um, then we have wedding reservation, the plural.com, Las Vegas helicopter weddings.com, Las Vegas gazebo weddings.com, Red Rock Canyon weddings.com, Valley of Fire weddings.com, Style My Event, which is our event company. So that's SMELV.com. And we've got a couple other ones that we use. They pick up traffic. But our
Awesome.
main one's lvwc.com.
Yeah, that's actually my background a little bit. I started Wedding Museum in 2003 and then rebranded to My Wedding Songs in 2017. And then actually have SEO has been my background too,
Okay.
trying to grow those companies. So I know a little bit about what you're talking about. That's interesting. And then for Bri, being a wedding officiant, I'm sure you're seeing couples from all over the world. Does that excite you that you're getting so many different types of cultures and different types of people that you get to officiate for?
It does because you never see the same person twice. But when you're officiating, it's a different realm, and it's really joyous because why you get to marry people all around the world, and it's great when you finally see one. When you're, let's say, the Valley Fire, that we do a lot of elopements, and somebody comes back to visit the Valley Fire, and you happen to be doing a wedding there, and they're like, "Hey, you married me 6 years ago," and I'm like, that is the most. I mean, gratifying, and I'm just so grateful for those things that they remember you, one, and that
Right.
you made an impression on their day. So, yeah, I really love it.
That's interesting you say that because I grew up in a town of about 30,000 and everybody knew everybody. And when you think of Vegas, 2.5 million or however many we have now, to run into people again, it's funny. We're a big, small town.
We are. For sure we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, what made you guys want to work in the wedding industry to begin with?
Well, this is a great story.
So, yeah, I actually got the idea from Expedia. There was this company I was told about that was starting that was going to sell hotels, but they don't own a hotel. So I put the same premise to Las Vegas weddings, sell chapels. We didn't own a chapel at the time. So that's how it all started. And I taught myself how to write code because I knew if I did it, I was going all in on it and run my own servers and so forth. And I had a buddy that was in the chapel business, and I knew of acquaintances with some other chapel owners and so forth in the history of chapels by growing up here in Vegas. So I went around to them, and they were unaware what the internet was. Most were, because Google didn't exist till 98.
Hmm.
So I started hearing about this in 97. By 97, I launched it. And it just took off from there, and then we started doing alternative chapel, creating, be it Red Rock, helicopter weddings. In the year 2000, we went to Valley of Fire, which is a state park. A lot of people confuse it. Red Rock's the federal park. At the federal park, we were not allowed to go on the loop by the Red Rocks. You were on the outside. So I remembered as a child going up to Valley of Fire. So in 2000, I went up and spoke with the head ranger, and we started doing those in 2000. So took off from there.
And you know what I love that he's being real modest is, you gotta always remember where we came from and how we started. And
Mhm.
we little desk in our room in the corner, and
Yeah.
it was just getting started. It was getting everything out there, but that internet was really booming at that time, and I'm telling you, what a great thing that he started, and look where it's launched us, so, yeah. It's great to remember where you started. Always.
Reminds me of Apple starting in the garage. That's funny.
Google did too. Sergey,
Yeah.
and yeah, I actually have a picture of them in the garage, in their
That's
garage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally had the kids crying in the back. That was our little thing, the little desk in the corner.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of, we have to remember, for listeners that may be 20, 21 listening to this, I probably didn't even get my first computer until 95, 96. So, I mean, it was a time when, yeah, like you said, the internet was fresh and you're trying to be on the head of it. So you were very much a forward thinker of where we were headed.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, it was even to get ICANN, which I'm sure you're familiar with,
Hmm.
to get my IP address, and then, to get my at that time, T1 line 1.5 up and down. It
Hmm.
took a long time, and I was like, "This whole internet's put together by bubble gum," because one facet did not know what the other was about, and I'm trying to talk to both of them, put the whole thing together, and yeah, it was a little weird in the beginning.
So speaking of the beginning then, how were weddings booked and marketed throughout the US and nationally before the internet?
Travel agents. That was
Yeah.
when you had a
Travel
lot of
agents.
travel agents. There was several chapels, and they would have people that specifically would even travel to the UK
Mhm.
and so forth, and talk to travel agents to book their chapels to get the non-Americans to come over. And then you had your local travel agents and so forth. And that's changed immensely. As you know, you're hard
Mhm.
pressed to even find a travel agent.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was the old system. In newspapers, like we would advertise in national
Yeah.
wedding magazines, which do not
Mhm.
even exist anymore.
Right.
Um, Another one I found that was pretty good, especially California being next door. It used to be like these bingo magazines. They
Mhm.
were pretty cost effective to do half and full page ads, and I found that to be very cost effective. You know, whether it was grandma or mom playing bingo, and then their daughter or son wanted to get married. Hey, look, I saw this. Let's go to Vegas.
And that was probably the time too where you could advertise in magazines that were in on
Yeah.
the airplanes.
Oh,
Those were really popular.
Yeah, yeah.
and Bridal, what was the magazine called? Bridal Modern Bride, I think
Modern
it
Bride
was.
was one of them. It
Yeah,
was probably the first time I went
yeah.
into a local. It was Target, happened to be Target, and went
Mhm.
to the magazine rack back in the day and picked it up and looked at it and said, "Hey, that's us. That's our ad."
That's
But
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, the airlines, that was another good one too. They were a little bit more expensive,
Yeah.
but no, they've always been a good one, or back then they were.
So where did you get the idea then to start a new booking platform here?
The Expedia, like I said, I
Mhm.
heard, was coming along and they were gonna launch, and they did not own a hotel, and I'm like, "Well, this internet, it's probably gonna take off." Um, and then just learning how to operate a server, what it was, putting it
Yeah.
together with IP address, or obtain your IP address, point it,
Yeah.
um,
Mm.
and just the whole logistics of that. And like Google didn't exist till 98. So Excite was one.
Yeah.
Netscape, they kind of did made some bad decisions because they wanted you to pay for their browser. I don't know if you recall Netscape.
I do.
Yeah.
I love
So
Netscape.
yeah,
I was probably a buyer of it.
I had it. I had the free version, and then they wanted to charge for it, and so you had
Yeah.
Netscape had their own little search engine going.
Yeah.
Sun Microsystems bought into Yahoo's, and Google actually owns a small portion. Later on, bought into Yahoo search too, because then
Yeah.
Yahoo eventually used Google for the search
Yeah.
results. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was just changing at one time. So Google comes in 98, and then, in the very beginning, Google was buying like a company a week, one a week. They bought
Mhm.
YouTube. A lot of the younger people, they just think that Google created YouTube. No, they bought YouTube and a lot of the other technology and programs, apps. So it was kind of just kept snowballing from there.
yeah.
So getting back to the beginning a little bit, I moved to Vegas in 2000 and I remember one of the most popular sites was vegasfiles.com. So was there anybody else in Vegas kind of doing the same thing as you guys?
There was a buddy of mine that owned the chapel, and it no longer exists. He took the URL Chapels of Las Vegas.
Mm.
Mm,
So he owned the chapel. Ironically, it was in my other buddy's little hotel. Uh, and we all knew each other, and that was my experience with the wedding industry and so forth also. And because it was a small community.
mhm.
Because going back, the Little Church of the West is the only one that's freestanding on the strip, because there's a long-standing law that you cannot be freestanding; it has to be attached to a hotel casino. So
That's
most of the
interesting.
chapels are downtown in the city, where the
Hmm.
city would allow it. So it's a small community, and it still is.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
but
It really is.
from there, it just kind of flourished. I mean, again, just selling it online and then going out to these owners of the other chapels and just explaining what the internet was, and I think it's gonna work, and this is how the new and I renamed the chapels, chapel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Right.
and then the chapel owners later on did, obtain their own URLs and start their own websites and so forth.
That
And
took
it
some
Mhm.
time to come on, I
yeah,
think.
it
It was a
did.
while,
Yeah.
and it was kinda nice because at that time, it was easier to sell. You had 1, 2, and 3, they didn't know where the chapels were, you could put minimum on the internet at that time, and so it was easy to sell, but once people caught on that you can start viewing and Google View and all that good stuff, changed the way things were done.
So
Yep.
just as a side question, did you branch out into like Pahrump or Boulder City or outside of the city?
No, the only thing we ever did in Peru, there used to be a nice winery and you could fly up
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
So, we had started helicopter weddings. Jerry, where Cosmopolitan, the city center's located. There used to be Las Vegas helicopters there. They were red, white, and blue, and they had the flag on it and everything. And Jerry owned it, and he also had that pizza joint in the front. I don't know if you remember the walking traffic because it was a sidewalk literally on the strip back then.
Yep.
And, so we started flying up to the winery in Pahrump, but that's the only
Okay,
time we've ever done anything in Pahrump, and they've exchanged hands through the years, but
It
sure.
has. It was a great
it was
place.
a great yeah, it was really nice. Nice dinner and everything, and fly back to Vegas.
Mhm.
How do you approach the chapels to get them involved, and what was their reaction? I know you got into this a little bit, but how receptive were they saying, "I don't even know what the internet is. What are you guys trying to do? Steal my business?"
No, I think they were really interested because they
They
needed the
were.
business just as well and wanted it,
Right,
so, yeah.
Mhm.
and the deal, because the way I wanted it structured is that you're not gonna pay me. So, the way I structured it was we would take at the what we would call and I told him, I said, "We'll call it a deposit, and that's our money. So, you don't have
Okay.
to pay me anything." So, then they show up, I'm gonna book it with you. So, it was a manual they book it online, the customer, and then it was a manual phone call to the chapel, and we would call the chapel and book all the weddings.
Yeah.
And then when the couple showed up and it was different back then. They would pay what we called a balance, which that was the chapel's portion. So I didn't have to pay the chapel didn't have to pay me, no money exchanged hands in that fashion.
Mhm.
So they liked that, they felt safe with that because you're not paying me anything. I'm literally
Right.
just gonna take a shot at it and go online and see if we book any. And we did, we booked a ton.
It did.
Just think of that manually now. They didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Zapier to, oh, just send an email because somebody booked.
Yeah, I mean, later on, it did get into, they obtained their own emails, but these chapels, they didn't have email addresses, it was just phone calls, and,
Yeah.
you would sit there, and in each chapel, it could be 10 to 20 a day, so I would
Sure.
wait until later in the afternoon, and then run all the bookings with them, then call the next chapel and the next one. Yeah.
The people listening just have to realize how many chapels there were just to set this up. It's crazy.
You think there's a lot of chapels today? There was plenty back then, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did, the total amount of weddings was greater too. So
Wow.
we had peaked out about 130,000,
Wow.
annual for the whole year annual.
I
So,
just, man, all that communication, that's crazy.
oh, yeah, you
I
definitely
just
stayed
have
on
to
the
laugh
phone.
about that.
No, you stayed on the phone a lot
That
because
phone was ringing up the whole
the customers yeah, you're staying on the phone with the customers because a lot of them didn't trust filling out the form online.
No.
So you were taking information over the phone. "Well, I wanna call you, I wanna make sure
Yeah.
because 'cause they're still used to the travel agent.
Sure.
And then you have to turn around and call the chapel to book it. And then we created our own I know. Then we created our own weddings, be it
Yeah.
like the Red Rock Canyon, the helicopters and so forth. And then by 2000, we went to Valley of Fire and just kept branching out from there.
So let me ask you then, I have to think of today. So let's say you have a popular chapel. I don't, I'm not too privy on the insights of it all, but let's just say some of them I'm sure could do 15 weddings a day. Are you saying even today that you could set up a time and booking them now a specific time? Do they give you a calendar? How does that work?
You could, but we would do more than that because, we've actually ourselves later on when we did get into the chapel business ourselves, we would do 100 weddings
Oh,
on a Saturday,
That's
over 100. But we have various locations, and we can get more in detail of what that was and so forth. But it's just being creative and overseeing it and management of it, putting good teams together. But that was just how it was. But today's not as many, but it's still a lot. We're still better than any other city.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we don't have this for Asheville, North Carolina that's popular, but So tell me yeah. So tell me a little bit about your chapel endeavor then.
Oh, that was an experience in itself.
We're one of the only 3 private owners
Who-
to own and operate a chapel in a casino.
At that time. You
So-
couldn't just walk in and say, hey, we want a
No.
chapel in this casino. It was something that was privileged and you had to really apply for it. And they interviewed you. But anyways, the point was that, yes, we were one of the 3, the Riviera, was it?
Yeah, the
Yes,
rear
and,
Circus.
Circus
Yeah.
at the time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was really great. Go ahead and tell them how you.
So we'd already been in business 10 years, and there was never ever a chapel at the old Las Vegas Hilton. So we were contacted and we put a chapel in there. So we started going, and this is in 2008. So this is when the economy was in the downside.
Yeah.
But we were the only department that was increasing because our intellectual property, the internet, the .coms that we had and so forth, were just driving it. We were pretty creative, and it was we would bundle packages with hotel rooms also, and we had great deals, and that's how I always felt we could beat other people. And we did. So we went in there, and like I said, we were the only department that blew up, going upwards. Everything else was going down, 2008, 9, and 10. They built a room next to the chapel. So then we started doing weddings on our busy days there also. We had a gazebo on the 3rd floor. So at the simultaneously, we were doing weddings there. And then out in the convention area, we would set those up for weddings also, depending how big they were. It could be 100 people, 200, and so forth. And the F&B was easy because it's all right there at the Hilton. And they worked really well with us. But no, there were days, especially on weekends, it got to the point we were doing well over 100 in one day.
Which is funny because a lot of the hotels at that time started to develop their wedding departments even more because they could see that weddings were building and bringing in that clientele. So it was kind of interesting to see that climb at the same time as ours. But we, like you said, we did a lot of weddings. We had different areas, but we were really booming at that time for us.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Here's bride number 57 for the day.
They're out in the hallway waiting.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
down
Yeah.
at the bar waiting. We're bringing them up. It was wild.
Those are good problems. And
Yes.
it was very nice. I mean, obviously, especially in the corporate world, if you're making them money, they will accommodate you. And hey, you need anything else? Let's do this. Let's do that. You have any other good ideas?
Or how about hurry up and eat that cake because we got to get you out for the next person. I
Yeah.
think that's really.
But we were still giving them more time. See, you
we
gotta
did. We did.
back then, and even today, some of the chapels are 15 minutes. So we were doing 30 minutes and sometimes 1 hour, just depending on what type of wedding it was.
Yes.
So we were accommodating a little more than others. And we were very hands-on. So I think that was a big difference too with the other casinos. They tried running it, and they would just have someone in F&B like they do to this day that's trying to have a wedding, perform a wedding, and oversee it. And they're not really in the wedding business. So we were, and then it was flipped. The F&B department assisted us rather than F&B operations. So
That makes sense. So then I have to ask you, what do you think about nowadays where casinos are taking out their chapels to put in gaming?
That's the way. That's where we're going now.
yeah, I mean, I think and part of me is like it's mismanaged, but it's hard sometimes. They're making money. They're not losing money. So the weddings are low on the totem pole like they used to be. So, I mean, you look at the monthly gaming, it's 1.2 to 1.4 billion a month net, not gross, net. So they're doing good.
Which is interesting. We've seen that climb and the decline all throughout this time, that we've been in the wedding. So you've got to see when it was high peaking and when today that they're taking them out. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So you ran the chapel of the Westgate, like we were just talking about. And when we say the old Hilton is now the Westgate, just for the listeners.
Yeah.
For a time in 2009, you hosted Mike Tyson's third marriage. What was that like?
That was wild. It was crazy. One night we were finishing a long day and it was in the evening and somebody called and was asking to be married and they're being very secretive. And I'm like, for all of my staff and everybody to stay right now, I've got to know something. What is this? Who are you? She goes, but I can't tell you. And I'm like, but you have to tell me or I can't send the limo out. Where do I send it? Who's going to get it? So she finally broke down and said, okay, it's Mike Tyson. She whispers. And I'm like, why are you whispering? She's on the phone and it's his fiance. And so she's like, hey, okay, it's Mike. So could we get married? I'm like, yes. So it was about 10 o'clock and we sent the limo out to get him. We brought him in. He was very quiet. He was very meek, but you have to put into that was the time when his daughter died. She had just passed away. And so he had met this person who had been with him some time, but she was helping him through his time and they wanted to be married. And we were there to celebrate it with him, no matter what was going on in his life. But he was a really great person. He was very nice. And we respected that he didn't want any of that out there photos or anything like that. And I do like to respect our VIPs because we want to make sure that they're taken care of just as well. But he was really, really nice, and she was too. And they're still married today. They renewed their vows at the M Casino after that, so it was kind of nice. And we still see him today, by the way. And he always reminds us of that day, which is the funniest thing. He's a very nice person.
Yeah, I think we forget sometimes that celebrities are just real people too.
They
Yeah.
just want to interact with everybody and not be bombarded. And that was something that we wanted to make sure that didn't happen. But, over the time, we had a lot of people coming to that chapel. We had like Mark Curry.
Mark Curry was probably one of the most
Oh,
interesting guys ever. He was
funny.
performing at the Hilton, Las Vegas Hilton at the time, and he really surprised a bride. It happened to be a gazebo wedding. So the groom's up there, everybody's ready, and we had a door, an entrance where the bride would come through to go outside right there and walk down the aisle. And she walks out. None of the guests have any knowledge of this. No one, because it was a last minute thing. Mark Curry would just come in the chapel at times and talk to us. And then Bri was setting the bride up and everything on this particular one. And he just happened to be in the vicinity. And he's like, hey, you want me to walk you out and everything? So he walked the bride out. As soon as he comes out the door with her, everyone was like, oh my God, it's Mark Curry. Things like that. Yeah. It's definitely, you never know in Vegas. These guys.
Nope.
They're around, yeah, they're really funny. And there's been others, some are private. We've done private weddings in the suites we were, asked to do renewal of vows and so forth, and we divulge who they are, but there's a lot of entertainers that have come through and we have been involved in, and, yeah, but Mike Tyson definitely is one of the biggest because it was out there that he got married with us, and we were bombarded the next day. We did some interviews and
gosh.
everything, and then the offers like a TMZ and all that, "Hey, we'll pay you for this and that." No.
Mm-mm.
So, what do you think about the way weddings are marketed today? How have they changed and may never change?
Oof.
I think it's ever evolving,
Yes.
again, with all the apps, social apps and so forth. So whatever the next new greatest thing is, you got to get on there. But at the same time, you become overwhelmed. I think you have to keep your base. And I do believe your website. I've seen a lot of people get into the wedding business, whether you're a DJ, photographer, and even an officiant themselves, and they don't even have a website. They rely on completely social media. My handle is this, or and you have to get a website no matter what, and then strategically use social media because you got to remember, social media is a website that you're going on. So strategically use it to pull them or draw them to your website.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you still have to have your own website, and it's always evolving.
You control the conversation there. That's what I say. And what if TikTok goes down? That's what's happening right now. You
Correct.
don't know. Or Mark Zuckerberg's on Capitol Hill. What if he gets shut down? That could all be gone in a second.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So, and too many people have put all their stock into one item such as that. And you still have to have your website. Get a creative.com. Don't get it too long. I know it's hard now.
It really is.
Yeah. That's why I bought Wedding Museum. It was available, even though it's terrible.
It's the key words. You have to have it. Yeah, it's just like us. I mean, we got wedding reservation in the plural many moons ago. But the LVWC, if you can get 3 and 4 letter, or like even Vegas weddings, the number 4 letter to you.com is us. And that
Wow.
was one of the first ones I got because they had Vegas weddings in it. And
Sure.
then I was like, okay, number 4 for you.
Hmm.
Then yeah, it's just being creative or trying
Love it.
to.
So I know we talked about a few already unique weddings. What's funny is I usually always start every interview, "What's your most interesting wedding?" And I didn't start it this way. So, do you have any other final unique weddings that you want to share?
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
There's so
No,
many
this
things.
isn't interesting because it was a helicopter wedding, but
Okay.
ironically, it was too windy to fly that evening. It was a night flight over the Las Vegas Strip, but
Mhm.
they still wanted to get married in the helicopter.
Okay.
So we literally went and sat in a helicopter that did not move. The wind moved it because it was that windy. You felt like you were flying. It was really windy that night. And the vows were done inside of a helicopter still, even though we never took off.
You would have never known.
They were happy, and that's the whole point, is to make the
Yep.
couple happy
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it, and it was great.
Sorry, full of my
It was
chicken.
nice. It fulfilled their dreams and happiness, and that's why we love it, because you're meeting people on their happiest day of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Great conversation all over the world. We can have conversations. I can tell you a little bit about
Oh my
just
God.
about every location,
Sure.
because you get in these conversations with everyone over the years.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. The groom that fainted because,
Yeah.
he decided to do crazy stuff the night before. Or the mother that was unhappy with who was going to perform the wedding, that it wasn't in a Catholic priest, and she drop kicked the, um,
The
the
pillow,
pillow.
pillow.
Yeah. She drop kicked the pillow with the rings and went flying, and she was just, oh my goodness, there's so many.
We've had grooms and the bride wasn't too happy. He had one of those rip away Velcro
Oh,
suits on, and he had a Superman outfit underneath.
yeah.
So he's standing there, and right when the ceremony starts, he rips it off, and man, she was mad.
Oh, she was so mad.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think the people that aren't from this area, they don't realize that you could get married in Valley of Fire when it's 110 out, or today you could get married, chains required, up at Mount Charleston. So there's a little bit of everything that's here.
There is.
There is, absolutely. And I think that's what makes us still number 1 city in
Mhm.
the world. There's still, well over 250 weddings a day.
I remember they used to marry in the hot air balloons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On now.
those were the only tough part about that, you had to go early in the morning,
Yeah.
and if there was
Mhm.
any slight wind, it got canceled, so that was kinda hard, 'cause sometimes it's early. It's early in the morning. Who wants to get up and get makeup and dress and everything? Very few.
Yeah.
So
That'd be fantastic.
Women.
beautiful view, though. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh,
So before I go into how people can reach out to you, do you have anything that we missed that you wanted to share?
no, we just want to kind of what we do. I don't think we really talked about exactly what
Mhm.
type of weddings we do. So we do elopements, micro weddings. We do larger scale weddings. We love all types. So it really is that we are very unique that way. And I know that there are a lot of people that want to choose on how many people that they want to attend to, but we'll do bigger weddings just as well. And we have the event company, and we worked with a lot of nonprofits in the past. We have done some really benefits for certain
Concerts.
concerts,
Yep.
but we've done a lot of different things. But I want people to know exactly what it is that we do, and we can provide these services for you. And now stepping into the world of how can we plan your wedding weekend here in Las Vegas is what we can do just as well. So.
And that's more of what it's evolved to now. It's a whole fun, whether it's 2 or 3 days in the weekday or weekend. We can arrange all the show tickets, transportation from point A to B, dinners, lunches, and so forth, entertainment. So, and that's what,
Mhm.
excuse me, that's what it's all about. The experience. Come to Vegas,
Mhm.
wedding and honeymoon experience all in one. Bring your friends, family, and it's just it's beautiful.
In all honesty, I wanna say that, Vegas will never has such a charm, a unique charm
Mhm.
that people love and drawn to, and no matter what they say, we've had people from all over the world come in all different major hubs, like, from Texas to Tennessee to New York, but they always say that Vegas is very unique, and that is a place to visit, so.
Yeah, I agree. Anything that you can think of can happen here,
Yeah.
as they say. And it's interesting you bring up the wedding weekends have definitely exploded over the last 5-10 years or however long. That's one advantage we definitely have here in Vegas.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So where can people reach out to you and find you and connect with you?
lvwc.com.
Sure.
And just those 4 letters right there, Las Vegas Weddings Corporation.
Las Vegas Weddings, and we're still on my event at SMELV.com. Same thing, but you can always find us anywhere.
I was going to say, what about our favorite Instagram? Do you have an Instagram handle that you share?
We do. It's Las Vegas Weddings on Instagram just as well. Absolutely. And Facebook. We're on Facebook.
Yep, Las Vegas Weddings. It's our official name.
Well, thanks, Bri and Shawn, for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
For everybody else, stay tuned for next week for another episode of the Wedding Songs podcast coming out every Thursday at 5 a.m. Pacific time. Thanks for listening and have a great day.
Thanks.
Have a good one. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
You're the wedding DJ.